Okay, so next unit here, additional print information. So just kind of like the title says, this is going to be other information you're going to find on the print. Things like local general notes, what's included in the title block, the revision block, things like that. So a little more on like the kind of publisher side of things. So the first thing we'll look at, we're going to look at the title block. So right here on the right, it's going to be an example of a title block. Um, this is something that the ASME publishes standards on, kind of like how the AWS or ANSI entities like that, OSHA, right? Just another kind of entity that makes standards. Um, this is associated with two or more blocks joined together, collectively known as the title block. Right, so we would have the company name and address, kind of their contact information, the title of the part that's in the drawing. So is this just bracket 034, or is this full assembly, something like the vacuumometer 2000 or something like that. So just the name of what's in that drawing. Size and scale, so that's referencing the drawing itself, and the sizes for the paper, which we'll get into in the next slide. Drawing number, so just for like organizational purposes, when you're filing these away. The revision number or a letter, and then sheet what of what. So this could be sheet 5 of 300. This could be sheet 1 of 1. The weight, if you have that information. Okay, so the size, what we were talking about in the last slide, when you are printing out shop prints or CAD drawing, computer aided drafting and design, right? So if you went into a program like SolidWorks or Onshape and you went to the print menu, you would probably see different options. You would have A through E, and that just denotes the size of the paper. So size A, that's 8.5 by 11. That's your standard sized paper. That's like the same paper that you would probably have in your printer at home. And then you go down to B, it's an 11 by 17, C 17 by 22, so they just progressively get larger. Okay, so that's the size. The revision just means how many times has this part been changed. And that's usually revision A, revision B, C, D, so on and so forth. So next is your drawing block. Okay, so right next to the title block, this contains the information and timeline about who had their hands on this drawing. That way you can contact these individuals if you need information, or if something arises and court's calling. You're gonna have your name signed to this, right? So it's gonna have the person who is drawing it. This could just be some paid intern or whatever. You're just the one that's in SolidWorks or Onshape or AutoCAD. You're the guy that drew it, and the date, and then who it was checked by, maybe your team lead, and the date they checked it, and then the date that the engineer approved it. So when the engineer looked at it, it was all good. He signs off on it, the date they signed off. Boom. The manager, this could be like a project manager, this could be the company owner or whatever, and then who is this issued by? So who's using the drawing, right? Is this getting drawn for a construction company, contract, or whatever? So who is it being issued by? All right, so that's what you're going to see in the drawing block. That's like the track record and who's been having any sort of approval or part in the drawing itself. And then we move on to the tolerance block. So that'll be adjacent to the drawing block that we just went over. This contains the allowable tolerances for size of a part or assembly. All right, this also contains the information about the type of material, special treatment required, if any, and specifications for finish. Okay, so you have your linear tolerances, right? These are your measurements, and like horizontal, vertical lines, just straight lines. And so they're saying 1/32, so plus or minus 1/32 is your tolerance. And then your angular tolerances, okay? So linear and angular tolerances, and that's just dependent upon, you know, the engineering or the design, all that stuff. What type of material is it, right? What grade material is this? A36 mild steel? Is this 5053 aluminum? Whatever. And then the treatment, was this annealed? Was this heat treated? That's like what kind of treatment, if any, did this get? And then the finish. So does this need to be machine finished? Does this need to be ground? Does this need to be sandblasted, right? What do we want this looking like before it leaves the shop? Okay, so that's what you're going to find in the tolerance block. Okay, next we have the revision block. So revision block is just any changes that have been made to the print are recorded there. So if it's not incorporated with other blocks, typically it's located along the border at the top of the print. So it's not permanently in one spot. So you just got to look for it. It'll be obvious if you find it, because in that information is just, or in that block is just going to be what revision was made, the date of the revision, and then the initials of the person making that revision. So if a revision is needed, say there's some sort of misalignment or something like that, if you're the welder, you should report that to the foreman, and then the foreman would go and mark up the print and draw in the necessary changes, send it back to the drafting department. They would make the changes, and then approved by the engineer, and boom, everybody signs off on it. Okay, and then we have our drawing notes. So we've got two different types of notes, general notes and local notes. General notes are grouped together and numbered for easy referencing. They're located away from the drawing and apply to the entire print. All right, and these are written in just kind of short, incomplete sentences, kind of like a lot of these slides. And then you have your local notes. These are located near the drawing and the areas specified. All right, so it'll make sense when we see the picture in the next slide here. These are written at the end of a leader line pointing to a specific location. It can be a phrase, numbers, or combination of words and numbers, and occasionally a tolerance for a specific location that's different from the general tolerances in the tolerance block. Okay, so here we have A is our local note. Okay, so that's saying hard surface, and it's right by the part. Looks like it's in the tail of this welding symbol. And then we have our general note. So metal Jalloy, 3-inch heat treated, stock number 205, 255 Brunel. Okay, so and that's relevant to the whole piece versus this hard facing is just in this section where that leader line is pointing. Okay, or this right here, 5 holes punched, 5/16 square and countersunk for number 3 head plow bolt. Okay, leader line, boom, local note, just pertaining to this. All right. Bill of materials, so pretty self-explanatory. This is just going to be your cost breakdown for that part or assembly or sub-assembly. Okay, this is going to be found on prints involving assemblies of 2 or more parts. On sub-assemblies, it's typically located above the title block. Assembly prints with large numbers of parts, so lots and lots of parts, may have a BOM, bill of material, on a separate page attached to the print. So if there's too much or not enough room on one page, they'll just give the bill of materials its own dedicated page. Different types, so you've got the fabrication or construction bill of materials or purchasing bill of materials. Okay. So for a fabrication or construction bill of materials, this lists the various parts required for an assembly, and each line would represent the part fabricated from detailed print. Okay, like the little print we saw on the last slide that had the bill of materials. And this is used to confirm what is being interpreted in drawings. Okay. This will list the part numbers, so you can reference it all from the assembly. And if parts on the assembly or sub-assembly print are numbered, these numbers are included to confirm what is viewed on the drawings. All right, so that is it for this. I'll see you in Unit 7.